picture you upon my knee. T for two, and two for tea. Me for you.
Hi everyone, Xavier for Vape. Today we will talk about the Celt, a new mechanical mod sold by Vapetornado.com. Here is the copper version with all tubes, three. The shortest one, the 350, 500, 650 here. You notice that the engraving is different on each tube. This is the copper version. There's one in stainless steel too, and they sell it as separate. You could buy only the 650 or the 500 or the 350. Here we have all tubes, and it's almost 70 pounds. So we'll see in the close-up how it's built, and we'll vape on it and talk about it. So let's go for the close-up. Here is the Celt, all the parts of it. We have 3 tubes here. As you see, I've used most the 650 tube, and it's tarnished compared to the 500 I didn't use at all. The engraving are different on all tubes made of solid copper. So this is a 350 tube. This is the 500. You see the engraving goes through around the tube. The engravings are the same in the stainless steel version for each tube. Here's the 650 tube. Machining is very good. Everything is very well built. Here is the top cap. It's Darwin insulator. There's an engraving in the top cap, and we'll find this engraving on the button of the switch in the version 2 as well. So the Darwin insulator goes here like so. All the threads are really well machined. It's a real pleasure to put it together. It's really smooth. Here we have a double screw, one to adjust for the 510 connector, the depth of the 510 connector, and the other for the battery rattle. Both are silver plated. It looks like it's silver over brass, so the main material used, main metal used here for the connector is brass, but it's fully plated, so the connectivity will be better. So that's for the top cap. The switch, here is the version 2, here is the version 1. What's the difference, you might ask me? Version 2 has no locking ring at all, so it's the same engraving as we have in the top cap. It's a button, it's spring loaded, so we have a spring. We put it together like this, and finally the silver plated screw here, and we screw it like so. Yeah, and here is the switch. The throw is not that long, about 1 millimeter, something like that, a bit shorter. not longer, I guess. The venting of the battery here in V2, V2 switch is goes using those channels cut into the direct insulator and goes into the inside of the switch. There's a hole all through the switch. Here you see it. That's for the battery venting. That's a V2. Compared to the version 1, we had 3 venting holes here. When the switch is a locking ring, we see that we have small holes here for the battery venting. When it was reverse threaded as well. Here we go. So when the switch is locked, we are almost like so, and we see that the holes here do their job of venting the tube. When it's fully closed, and I will show you right away how it is. Yeah, the engraving here is different. It was quite nice too. And personally, the spring on the version 2 is a bit harder to use. It requires more pressure, partially because as there's no locking ring, it should be harder to activate to avoid any triggering by mistake, so in your pocket or something like that. And in fully open mode, unlocked, yeah, as far as venting goes, it goes through this little slit here, and the play we have here in the switch, which is quite almost non-existent. I prefer the use of the version 1. It's softer, it's lockable, but quite significantly thicker, longer if you prefer, than version 2. If you compare here, we have a good 5 or 6 millimeter difference between the two. Can measure it if you want. You'll be able to get the good reading with this. So the version 1 is 16.5 millimeter, more or less. And version 2 is 10.5, so it's 6 millimeters difference between the two, as far as their thickness go. We will use the version 2, as I don't think the version 1 is still available. We'll put it like so. VTC 5 inside of it. Dripper on it. The Nova 22. Nova 22 that has a deep 510 connector, a very deep one. So with this top cap, unless you unscrew the direct insulator, you will have a small gap here. With drippers, it's not really an issue, as it will avoid the heat generated by a low resistance inside the dripper to move too fast to the top cap. So I like my dripper like so, with always a bit of a gap here. So it will screw like so. No battery rattle, we're fine. And now the top cap on it. And let's see how it vapes. How did it vape? It vapes pretty well. Actually, I measured the volt drop on this mod, and with the V1 version 1 switch, measure the volt drop with a 0.5 ohm coil. It's quite low, but the volt drop is 0.3 volt. That's a good volt drop for such a low resistance coil. The battery was quite fresh. The battery was a VTC5. The battery was at 14 volts. So here we have 0.33 volts with the V1. With the V2, it's a bit better. At 0.3 volt as a volt drop. And the difference between the two might be explained because we have a larger contact here on the V2 compared to the V1. So the conductivity of this mod is quite good. It was quite expected too, because we have silver plated contacts, and we have here a copper tube. So it's a nice mod. I like doing gravy quite well. Not fond of the 500 tube, but the other two are quite to my liking. I prefer this one. So here we have a 3-tube mod for 70 pounds, which is about 100 euros, with a good conductivity. As far as the switch touch goes, I prefer version 1 versus version 2. Version 1 has a locking ring, version 2 has not. Version 1 was quite smooth. Version 2 is harder by design, I would say. It's designed like this. 70 pounds for a mod with this performance. It's quite good, actually. For example, the Labyrinth we reviewed some weeks ago was almost half more expensive than this one. Instead of 100 euros, we were at 150. So it all similar, except that with the Labyrinth with a hybrid ring, hybrid connector that was provided. Here we have 3 tubes still, and copper available still in stainless steel, and you can even buy a single tube. You have to choose which one you want to buy, but and it's quite a bit cheaper as well. Let me check on Vapetornado.com website. With a single tube for a 350, it's 45 pounds, and 50 pounds for the 500 or the 650 tubes. And this is 70 with all the 3 tubes. It's a good value, I guess, according to me at least. So here it is. Let's check. And currently it's the version 2 that is to purchase online. If you like what we do, don't forget to like us on YouTube or to subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next review. Bye bye.